What's up? Welcome to No BS Affiliate Marketing. Welcome to No BS Affiliate Marketing
with your hosts,
Andy Mattis,
Pascal Kurtz. What's going on, everybody? Today we have a special anniversary. Andy and I met around a year ago, and what we want to do in this episode is to talk about our, let's say, learnings or biggest learnings in the last year of this journey, this marketing journey. So yeah, there's been a lot. There's been so much. So we probably could talk about this for hours and hours, but we just want to give you like the main things that really stuck with us, so that really propelled us forward in our businesses. So yeah, anything else you comes to your mind?
It's just been one hell of a journey. One hell of a journey over the last year. A very exciting one. And one that's really kind of interesting now to kind of reflect on and say, damn, here we are. So do you want to, well, I guess I could probably kind of start off because I've been sort of marketing for about 2 years now, but it was just over a year ago. I think it was like start of June, with this whole kind of COVID situation and all of that. I was initially kind of, working with gym owners, doing coaching and that stuff. And then all of the gyms closed. So I was like, right, I now have to kind of look into something else.
Yep.
And this is basically when I kind of stepped into affiliate marketing. So obviously with changing niches, I was like, didn't know anybody, nobody knew me. I was essentially just starting from ground zero, right?
Yep.
So stepped into affiliate marketing, and Pascal was my first sell in the affiliate marketing space. So, a very, very interesting journey. I can't remember exactly where it was that we met, but I remember we started having a conversation online, and we may have had just sort of like a back and forth kind of conversation a few times. And then Pascal basically asked me a question, which I had the answer to it, but I couldn't really answer it to him over Facebook Messenger. So like a week or so had gone by. I could remember somebody asking me this question, but I couldn't remember exactly who it was. So anyway, I decided to go live in my Facebook group answering this specific question. You saw it, and then you reached back out to me. We had another conversation, and you actually decided to kind of sign up to the affiliate program that I was promoting at the time. That's kind of anything you want to kind of add there. Is seems such a long time ago, but
it is. Yeah. I mean, like, it's just crazy. Like, okay, so for me, there's been like 6 months or more of looking for the one program that will help me to really get this going, get this affiliate marketing off the ground. But like, there was no program that really helped me do that. Or maybe it was the belief in myself, or both. But it's like, holy shit, like so many programs out there. You don't know which one is the right one. And like, that's one thing, one of the major learnings. You just go with it and try and see if it works. Because like, if you just sit there and you kind of research on all those different programs, you never really take action, buy a program and see if it works. You will never know. You will never know.
Yeah, you never know 100% until you do it. And it's kind of like with like the business world, you're always going to make decisions that don't work out to be good, and then you make decisions that are good. But it's kind of like I've made some bad investments in the past, and I have to say, like, I am so grateful for those bad investments, because it's taught me a lot in the long run of what to look for and what not to look for, kind of thing. But yeah, like, making a bad decision is better than making no decision at all.
Right.
So yeah, like you said, yeah, just got to really kind of take action on stuff. If you're just constantly stuck in limbo, like, everything's got to be 100% right. It's like, well, you're never going to find that, because nothing's ever 100% right. It's never the right time. Like, people think, I don't have time now. I'll have more time in like 2 months' time. And then 2 months down the line comes round and, still in the same situation. Life will always throw curveballs in the way. Always. You can't avoid that. So the best time to take action is just now. Well, the best time to take action was yesterday. The next best time to take action is today.
Right.
So yeah, don't ever think, just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Nike knows it.
And yeah, I just want to put this out there as well. If any of you guys are like considering kind of investing in like a good program, I think me and Pascal have kind of covered like things from our own experiences, like things to look for in good programs, things to look out for in programs that aren't so good in one of the previous episodes. So I'd highly recommend you kind of having a look back and checking that out before.
Check it out.
Yeah. So yeah, that should be very helpful.
Right. Yeah, like I would just want to touch on the point you made. Like, there's no real bad decisions. It's just like we label it as bad decisions, right? It's always so, like, that's another thing that I learned is like the perception or how you view things. It really, really influences how you view things and how you do things, right? If you see this as a bad decision, then maybe in the future you will not take any decisions because, oh my God, I made a bad decision once. I'm not going to make another decision because what if the big what if it will be another bad decision? It's like there's always something you can learn from those decisions, right? If you make a mistake, don't like, okay, so let's say you're as a baby. What do babies and children do? They make mistakes, they get up and they try again. Like, how many times have you seen, if you're a parent, how many times have you seen your child trying to walk for the first time, getting up, falling down, getting up again, falling down again, and never stopping until you achieve it? And you want to have the same approach for your business, for life in general. Doesn't matter how many times you fall. All that matters is how many, like, that you get up one more time and you fall.
Yeah. And this is like a really powerful as well, because I've just been reading a book called The Obstacle is the Way.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting because they touch on this perception as well. Like, this is something obviously I'm kind of already aware of, but like, like most people go through life and they just make decisions based on how they feel, right? So their own kind of perception of what happens, right?
Yeah.
So like, just because you believe something's true, or like a certain situation may make you think a certain way, doesn't necessarily mean that it is, right? So we could have like 10 people in the room, like, let's just say, for example, like my parents have just drummed into me from a very young age that, I don't know, eating this food is bad. Pascal's parents have drummed into him that eating this food is brilliant. This other person's parents have drilled into them that, this is good or that's bad. Like, all 10 people could be put in the same scenario, and all 10 people could have a completely different perception.
Right.
And due to that perception, their response in that situation will be different. Okay. So like, just because we believe something to be true doesn't necessarily mean that it is, right?
Yeah.
And it's really kind of powerful when you can sort of understand this stuff, not just understand it, but start to take a step back and see things for what they actually are, right? Not being so kind of reactive, because most people just go through life like, oh, okay, I believe this to be true, I'm going to act a certain way. And like, as you kind of know, Pascal, with like marketing and stuff, like with what we do, we use like a lot of kind of like tracking sheets and stuff like that to show us real data. So I could run off my own opinion, but the data shows us actually something that's different. The numbers show you something that's different. So yeah, and like, I highly recommend this for anyone that's kind of maybe just struggling with anything in life, maybe kind of like imposter syndrome, struggling to, overcome certain barriers. I highly recommend reading this book called The Obstacle is the Way. Really, really good book. And it's really just about learning how to kind of turn those challenges, those obstacles into opportunities, because often those obstacles are the necessary learning curves that you need to go through in order to achieve your goals.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. Like before I got into affiliate marketing, I went through like an 8-month span where I just didn't make a single penny online. And for anyone that's kind of experienced that, it was an extremely painstaking experience, wanted to quit, partner asking you, when are you making some sales, all the kind of pressure, like wanting to quit my job, and just nothing was working.
Yeah.
And the easy thing for me to do would be just kind of throw in the towel, just keep working my job. But now it's funny, because now I've gone through that. It's like, oh my God, I am so glad that I went through that 8-month span, because now I'm able to teach my students the things not to do.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I see a lot of the kind of struggles that people experience, and it's like, yeah, I've experienced that before. So it's very, very, very helpful. So yeah, a little bit kind of off topic there, but yeah, going back like a year ago, like, man, yeah, met Pascal. You started taking quantum leaps to kind of progress in your business. Got you to kind of jump on camera for the first time, all of this kind of stuff, man. So yeah, if you want to just kind of sort of relive those moments.
It's been, oh my God, yeah. So many things changed in just 1 year. It's crazy.
It is. And that's another thing. I think people underestimate what they can actually accomplish in the space of a year.
Yeah.
They overestimate what they can achieve in like 30, 60 days, and underestimate what they can actually accomplish in the space of a year.
Yeah.
So
that's true. Yeah. That's the whole point of this. Like, the mindset we have now is improve every single day. And if you do this for a whole year, 10 years, oh my God, like, things change drastically for you.
Literally.
But all you need to do is put in the work and be consistent with it.
Mm-hmm. And have the right guidance. I cannot stress how important that is. I see people who literally, I've had students that have been online for 14 years. Like one of my clients, Dave King, he was online for 14 years. Srini was online for over 10 years, and they were just going in the wrong direction. And I have to tip a hat to them. These guys were obviously resilient to still be going after all of that time.
Right.
14 years, like that's kind of crazy when I think about it. I'm 28 years old. And that is half of my lifetime, right?
Yeah.
That is absolutely like an insane amount of time.
Bonkers.
Going in the wrong direction. And now, like, they kind of say it was like, especially with Dave, he was like, a series of kind of belief systems about, these cheap $7 programs that hit you with upsells, blah, blah, blah. And like a series of other things, switching from, different business models, just basically not really kind of willing to kind of invest in high ticket.
Yeah.
And, he's now kind of taking that leap into high ticket, and he's now making the transition into coaching, which is part of his long-term vision. Within the span of 4-5 months of working with him, he's now launched his own coaching business. He's now making consistent income each month for his business.
It's crazy.
From 14 years of making, I think in the 14 years he made like $3,000. And since we started working together, he's made more than that in like the space of like 4 or 5 months. Insane. So
that's what happens when you have the right guidance and you keep moving in that direction.
Absolutely. So yeah, like, let's just kind of move on sort of a few months down from like a year ago. So I think we're talking like September, October. Pascal went through a little bit of a difficult time in his business. Came to me, said that this was like just after I launched my coaching offer. Just for those of you that don't know, I initially started in the coaching consultant space, transitioned into affiliate marketing, got my business going then, and then basically decided that I wanted to transition back into coaching, but this time in the affiliate marketing niche, right? So I'd initially just kind of launched my coaching offer Pascal reached out to me shortly after. Oh man, I'm ready to quit. I need something to work. He said something along the lines of, I need something to work by the end of the month, or I'm going to have to start looking at other ways to make money. So why don't you kind of talk us through what was happening there and what happened shortly after?
Yeah, it was a really difficult time. Not only in business, personal life, stuff happened. Yeah, you know how life happens sometimes, and you just get thrown all the shit at you at once. So that's what happened there. My mindset was fucked. There was like a belief that I couldn't make it, I wasn't worthy, stuff like this. So you get the gist. And so from there it was like, okay, something needs to happen right freaking now, or is like I'm ready to throw in the towel. And like Andy told me to push through, not give up, which gave me the confidence and motivation to keep doing things, keep acting, keep doing my daily tasks. And oh wonder what Napoleon Hill said. What was it like? I'm butchering his quote.
Success lies just on the other side of a minor setback or failure.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
This is like why most people never actually experience this, because they don't understand this. It's like they hit that minor setback or failure and then they quit.
Yep.
And his success lies just on the other side. I cannot tell you how many times I've actually experienced this myself. But just to give you guys a bit of a background, like I said, I just kind of launched my coaching offer. Pascal wasn't actually in it at the time. He was kind of joined a bunch of other programs. He was still working with those. Nothing was working. He kind of went for a similar thing to me, just went through that long period of time of taking action and not getting any results. Yep. So I got him into my program. Like you said, he had a bunch of stuff going on in his personal life. So I knew that the first thing we needed to kind of address was his mindset, right? So I was like, boom, right here, we're going to basically work on your mindset, and then we're going to put this action plan in place for you to actually kind of start getting results. I think it was like a week later, he made his first high ticket sale, right? And then a couple of weeks after that, it was followed up by 2 more sales within 24 hours. So
exciting times.
That was like, from literally kind of a whole bunch of shit in your personal life, ready to throw in a towel, months of working, because you grinded your balls off, you worked hard, and just nothing came. So how was that kind of shift from putting in work, nothing working, to jumping into the program and actually kind of getting results, and them to just kind of hit you so quickly, I guess, like, especially that 2 within 24 hours, man, that was like, must have been a bit of a game changer for you.
Yeah, like when you first don't believe that this whole online thing works, because like you said, grinding your face off all day, every day, and it's like nothing works, and you're like, well, they said they had testimonials, right, that this will work, and you just need to do the work, blah blah blah, all this stuff. And I was like, why am I not getting results?
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously, you, like you said, working on the mindset. And yeah, after making this sale, the first sale, and then the other 2 sales, it was like a huge shift that happened. It was like from not believing in this can work and I'm good enough to make this work, to, oh my God, it actually works. You just need to do the right things and have the belief in yourself that you can do it with the right process, obviously. Like, you can do it. If you believe in yourself, then things will happen.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, like, only if you follow the right steps and have daily actions to do. But like, again, if I would have quit, if you would not have told me push through, working on your mindset, I would just, be in my 9-to-5 job right now. I would not be here talking with you on this podcast today. I would be in a 9-to-5 job, probably hating every second of it, rather than enjoying this whole new lifestyle of not to say a laptop lifestyle, but like having their own schedule, working for yourself, not for somebody else, and all the joys that come with an online business. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. It is mad. It is mad. So yeah, and like just to kind of touch upon like obviously what Pascal was saying about the, you know, how the success just lies on the other side of the minor setback or failure.
Yeah.
Just to give you guys a bit of a background when this kind of happened to me was like I launched my coaching offer, things were going well, and then I hit a sales slump, right? I think I went for like a month or like 5-6 weeks without like any sales. I quit my job, had all of these kind of like poor like mindset kind of beliefs kind of going through my head. Did I make the right decision? Did I not? And my account literally hit negative balance, right? I had no money. My account hit negative balance. And then boom, what happened? 6 days, 6 sales, right? So, you know, that minor setback or failure was obviously that sales slump, my account going into negative balance. And then boom, you know, 6 sales in like 6 days. And then it's just kind of been sort of consistent every single month, like since. And this is just kind of how things work sometimes. And yeah, it's obviously something that a lot of people don't really understand. That's why they just kind of throw in the towel and quit.
Yeah.
And that's always kind of like the easy option. So yeah, fast forward months and months and a year, over a year now. How are things for you now, Pascal, in comparison to like a year ago?
There's no words to describe this. I mean, everything changed, like, and it's just a year. Like, for example, my view of the world, it changed completely. Like how I view things, how I perceive things. That's just one part of it. It's like, it's so crazy to see what can happen in a year. And not only like I'm grinding for my business and I'm getting better at the skills of marketing and sales, but like your whole life changing. And at first, when I started this journey, this entrepreneurial journey, I've always seen quotes that being an entrepreneur is not a job or something; it's a lifestyle. And was like, what are they talking about? I don't understand that. But now I do. It's like you in order for you to become successful, to have this success, to have consistent sales, pushing through all this pain, you have to work on this, because this is like your number one asset.
Yeah.
It can make you or break you depending on how you view things. So just going back to the example of throwing in a towel, if you just go with the easy decision, oh, okay, this doesn't work, I'm out, you will never experience such a level of success, right? And only that's another thing, that only the people who push through pain, who believe in themselves, no matter how it may look on the outside, no matter how bad things may look like, they just push through because they believe in themselves and that this will work out.
100%. And like you said, like entrepreneurship is a lifestyle. And like, if someone was to ask me, like, what does entrepreneurship mean to you? Like, I've always had this as floating in the back of my mind. Like, for me, the answer is living a life of never-ending optimization. Right? So you do things, you fail, you optimize, you go again, right?
Yeah.
And this has literally gone to the point that you see this ring on my finger. This is called an Aura ring. Okay, it's a smart ring, and this is like an amazing kind of like sleep tracker, right? It's a smart ring. It doesn't just track sleep; it tracks like everything. But it's amazing because obviously, like, that's your main kind of recovery time, and just like down to little things, like I may say, all right, yeah, I'm going to go to bed at 9 o'clock. I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m., right? I've had 8 hours sleep. But what I found from using this ring, like my perception is that I've had 8 hours sleep, right? So going back to perception. But what I found is like, because this thing tracks like REM, which is like rapid eye movement. I think this is like when you're kind of like dreaming, you're supposed to have so much of it each night. You know, how much deep sleep you've had, how much light sleep you've had, how restless you were. This thing tracks all of it, right? And what I found is that every single night I have at least 1 hour where I'm not actually sleeping. I don't know what it is, but the ring kind of picks up on it. So where I've been in bed for 8 hours, you know, I've only had 7 hours sleep, right? Or, you know, I spend 7 hours in bed, I've only had 6 hours sleep. And it says for the average person that you really need to have between 7 to 9 hours of sleep. This thing tracks your performance throughout the day, all kinds of things. And again, my perception of certain things is completely different to the real data that I've actually been given, right? And now I'm able to kind of optimize certain things to improve my performance, because at the end of the day, if I'm constantly working and I feel tired all the time, you know, you're not going to be working at your best, are you? Right? And I highly recommend this to anyone. Like, doesn't matter if you're in business, you're like doing anything. Highly recommend it.
Yeah.
Because our perception of certain things just going through guesswork is kind of catastrophic if you want to be at your best. So yeah, it's interesting to work with real data. Show you averages, you know, heart rates. This thing picks up if I eat 4 hours before bed or drink alcohol, because it messes up my sleep, right? I've literally stopped having caffeine after 1 p.m. because it messes with my sleep. You know, I'm British. I love my tea, so I've just gone and bought some decaffeinated tea. I've got it right here, right next to me, actually. You see? So yeah, so like just kind of optimizing for certain things so that I can constantly improve and get to that next level. And yeah, when you can sort of be your best in areas that other people don't even know of, yeah, it would make you dangerous. So,
that's like, I want to tie into that. It's also like with journaling. Like when I first heard about journaling, I thought that it's only something that teenage girls do.
See, perception. That's mad. I've never thought of that way. So I guess we perceive that differently.
Yeah. But like the thing is, with journaling, you pick up on stuff that repeats itself, right? So there's like something that I do now is like an evening check-in. So I review the day and I think of what can I do better tomorrow, or what can be even better tomorrow, right? That's a powerful question to ask yourself. And that ties in with what you said with optimizing. It's like you always want to review your day, rate yourself on how much energy did you have, how much did you walk, or did you do sports, did you eat healthy, all those stuff which you may not think that it plays into your productivity, as like all those things you may not think about that will have any influence on your productivity. They do. Just like you said, sleep. If you don't sleep enough, your productivity is down. If you don't eat healthy, your productivity is down. If you don't do all these things, it will have an influence on your productivity.
And here's like another thing to touch on there as well, because obviously, like you said, if you don't eat well, it's going to mess with your productivity. Your fuel, your energy that you get comes from the food that you eat, right? So like if you're constantly eating like just crap, like junk takeaways, I think we've all kind of been through like a phase of doing that, your productivity is probably going to be pretty shit as well, right? So like another really good way to kind of track this stuff is like with certain foods that you're eating, set an alarm for an hour after you eat, and just see how you feel after eating that food. Yeah, and like you said, with kind of exercise, this Oura ring picks up on certain things. Sometimes when there's a lot of time I exercise in the morning, I like first thing, like one of the first things I do is basically exercise. And sometimes I have like really bad night sleep, and it's telling me to basically try and exercise not long before bed to improve this kind of area of your sleep and stuff like that. So yeah, and it just kind of like, you know, picks up on things like, you know, how inactive you were like during a day. You know, try and move around just for like 2 to 3 minutes every hour, which basically prevents you from experience just 2-3 minutes at each hour, just to prevent you from kind of, you know, experiencing the side effects of basically inactivity.
Yeah.
So it's crazy, like little things like that. And like I said, you're actually working with real data. You can actually see rather than kind of guesswork, where our perception is often wrong.
Yep. Real data instead of guessing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Good. That's a good tip.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right.
So yeah, anything else to add there?
Not to this point, no.
Hey. All right, so I really appreciate everyone kind of jumping on to listen to this podcast. Again, we would love to hear what you guys want to hear from us. What topics do you want us to cover? Okay, we're here to serve you. So I'd really appreciate if you left a comment down below and letting us know what you want to see from us. Don't forget to smash that love button. Don't forget to hit the subscribe. And we will catch you on the next episode.
Take care. See you
Bye.
then.